It's Friday here on Winning Begins at Home. Excited for the weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun here. I know some of you, that's your last weekend. School's about to start back. Everybody's, I got some teacher friends. They're about to go back. And I know some students, they're like, oh, we're dreading it. The teachers are dreading it. Everybody's like, summer's over. And it's no fun. But as we think about today, we've been talking about our operating system for our lives. And I want us to do a little bit of review here. So on Tuesday, we talked about setting our mind on our vision, like what's our dream? And the way we talked about it was, if we could picture 10 years down the road, what do we want to be true in 4 or 5 areas of your life? You get to pick what those are. And then we identified, when we start thinking about our purpose, it was what are we going to do to get there? And so 2 or 3 things on each of those things that we want to be true. And we've got our little notebooks and we're filling those out. I hope you're working on that and you giving some time to it this week to think about it. And then we got into some purpose, like our why. Like, why are you here? It's not your job. It's not your title, all that stuff. It's not how many followers you have. That's not why you're here. It's why are you here? Like, what is your purpose? What are you trying to do to add value to people around you? And if we can let our purpose and our passion match up, we saw just how powerful that can become. And then yesterday we talked about our values, our non-negotiables. What are those 3 to 5 things that you say are going to be the core to my life? They're going to drive my behavior. They're going to help me say yes to some things, help me to say no to some things. But today I want us to talk a little bit about aligning it all together, like aligning these together. This week really is our foundation for our operating system. We're going to get into next week. We're going to talk about our morning routine, how we use our time, how we start our day. But today I want us to think about this idea of aligning our daily life with this foundation that we've set. And as you think about it, the question today, I've been starting every day with a question, is how much of your daily routine, when you think about the way you use your time, it actually reflects what matters most to you. It reflects your vision. It reflects your passion. It reflects your purpose. I mean, all those, your values. I mean, they're like, when you look at your daily schedule, are these things being lived out? And I think somebody said one time, the gap between where we are and where we want to be is bridged by what we do every day. That's so simple, but I think it's so true. The bridge between where we are and where we want to be is bridged by what we do every day. If you want to build a life to the future, you gotta literally take steps every day to cross that bridge. So there's some time studies I ran across. It showed that the average person spends about 3 hours a day on social media and TV, watching, some kind of media intake. Now they're on screens up to 10 to 12 hours, depending on what study you look at, but about 3 hours a day just on social media and TV per person, but only about 19 minutes per day on activities that align with their long stated goal. I mean, think about that. That is wild when we consider that we'd spend 3 hours a day taking in media, and we'd only spend, less than 20 minutes a day heading toward our vision on missional kind of thinking. There's a disconnect, I think, that between what we say matters and how we behave, that we need to give some thought to. So today, let's do a little bit of an alignment audit. I want to encourage you to get your calendar out and really think through the time that you're spending or how you're spending your time, and how much of that time is values aligned, is purpose aligned, is mission and vision aligned, is passion aligned. I think there's some power in thinking through this and at a calendar level. Let's make this real. I mean, it's one thing to say all this, but like, what are you actually doing with your time? And I really think that if we have good intentions and we don't have systems to ensure that those intentions happen, it's just very unlikely that we achieve the kind of life that we want to. And really what that means, let's think about it in some of the stuff we talked about this week. We get to that 80th birthday party and we look back and we didn't have those systems in place to help us get there. I think we're going to really struggle. And so as you look at your current reality, are you where you want to be? Now, if you're not, you don't have to stay. That's a good thing. You have to start where you are, but you don't have to stay there. I say it all the time. But I want us to really think about, where would we need to start? And I think the place we start is in our morning routine, and we're gonna focus on that a whole week next week. I mean, I got a whole week's worth of stuff that I've been thinking about for our morning routine. If you don't have a good morning routine, You come next week, I promise you, it is going to give you some things to think about and consider. But today, how would you identify your biggest gap between your foundation and your daily reality? Like, what is the biggest gap here? If there are things that we say we want and yet we're not doing that, like, what's causing that? What is the deal? So let me give you a little bit of a framework here to think about it. We'll call this we'll go 3, 2, 1 here. What are 3 things that you need to stop doing right now? 3 patterns of behavior, 3 patterns of thinking, 3 things that you're doing on your schedule. Like, you're going, that needs to stop. I want to challenge you today to write down the 3 things. These got to stop. What are a couple of things that you need to start before you get into Monday and back for the morning routine stuff? Like, maybe already in your mind, you're going, there's a couple things I've been needing to start. I haven't done that. I want to challenge you today. Identify those 2 things you need to start. And then maybe there's something right now that you feel like, this is the most successful thing I've got going on in my calendar that matches up with what we've talked about this week. I like, this feels right. Then that's the one thing that we want to continue. What is the most important thing you say? I need to keep doing this. Maybe I need to double down on it and do it even more. I think when we make small shifts that honor our vision, that help us, again, take those steps toward our purpose, it's amazing what happens. But if we don't give any thought to this, you guys know this, if you don't give any thought to it at all, it is just so unlikely that you're going to have joy in the moment, and you certainly are going to have regret when you look down the road. So I think this is so important. Now, when I think about alignment, I want us to, there are a couple of things here I would say before we go today and into the weekend. I always think about the car, when you're driving your car, if your car gets out of alignment, and that happens here sometimes in Atlanta, we got the old roads and potholes and all kind of stuff. Occasionally you'll hit one, and it literally can knock your car out of alignment, and the thing will begin shaking. And if that happens and you don't pay attention to it, any of these areas we talked about this week, if you have a lack of alignment there and your life is shaking right now, proverbial, you got the shake going on. I remember years ago, we had a little car, and I was driving that car, and my kids had been driving it. This is the car my kids learned to drive on. We had this little Honda Civic, and I got in the car, and I was driving it one night, and the car the wheel's shaking. I'm feeling like, this is not good. And so I take it to mechanic, and I'm like, hey, what's going on with the car? It's kind of shaking. He said, it's out of alignment. You need an alignment on it. And I asked him, how much does that cost? And he was like, it's $80 for the alignment. This was years ago. And I'm like, okay, what if I don't get the alignment today? What if I can wait, right? And he's like, well, I wouldn't suggest that, but you could drive it, and you can drive it. Yeah, you can get back home, but let me do it. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm debating, and $80, and so I take it back home, which is not good. Because a couple of weeks later, the thing's really shaking now. It's just not good at all. And so I go back over to the mechanic, and I got my $80, saved up, and I'm going to get my car aligned for so the girls are going to be okay. And he takes me out beside the car, and he's like, I need you to look at come over here. And so he's like, what's going on? And he says, I want you to look at these wheels. And we literally had some places where the tread was coming through the tire. And he said, you got a bigger problem now. He said, you need new tires. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how much is that going to cost? And let's just say it was more than 80 each. And so, and here's the problem. He said, you still have to have an alignment. It's like, you can't, the thing's still got to be in alignment, or you'll just ruin your new tires. And I learned a very valuable lesson. When we put the need for alignment off, it doesn't make the need for alignment go away. It just causes more, it wreaks havoc on everything in our life. So today, here's the deal as we land this week. If you have a lack of alignment when it comes to your mission, go back to where we started with vision, mission, purpose, your values, any of that stuff, your life is shaking right now. And it's just not, this is not the life you want. So I want to challenge you today to really think through, what would I need to do to align my behavior, to align my calendar toward those things that are going to help me have the life that I'm born to have. And the people around you are going to benefit from that. It's going to make things so good. It'll even help you at work. It'll be great. But again, it's going to help you outside of work and with your friends and your family. You're going to be a person that people are going to enjoy being around, because you're going to add so much value. And I believe with all my heart, when you lie down at night, I said this a couple days ago, when you lie down at night, you're going to have joy. You're going to know, hey, that was a good day. I made a difference today. And again, it may just be in those small moments. You're just living at your purpose every day. You're passionate about it. If you can do that, I think you're going to be a person who really does win beyond work. All right. So love you guys. I hope you'll join us next week. It's morning routine week next week. If you don't have a solid morning routine, even if you do, come listen to what we got going on. I think you can make some adjustments, and you really can set yourself up for success as you go into your day. All right. Love you guys. Keep sharing with your friends and family. And remember, winning begins at home.